Alright guys, so as of this video, the date is the 11th of November 2021 and the premiere of Arcane had just taken the world by storm, having been released 5 days ago, with the first episode being broadcasted live on Riot's own Twitch channel alongside other stream channels that co-streamed it. While the full Act 1 consisting of episodes 1 to 3 had been released on Netflix later in the day. So if you haven't watched it yet, I did say, this video will contain major spoilers, so take, pause if you like. Take a moment to watch it. I'll be right here. I won't be going anywhere. I'll give you guys a second. Go ahead. You done? Alright, so let's continue. So a lot's happened since then and let's talk about it. Arcane had achieved one of the highest viewership peaks, hitting 3rd in the top 3 on Twitch according to Twitch metrics. Not only that, the show has also managed to be a major hit to both League of Legends fans that are already familiar with the characters and to other people who aren't even familiar with League or even know its lore, taking the #1 spot in 38 different countries and rising in the top 10s in others. That just goes to show the quality of the animation and the story and the characters inside the show. So with that being said, the future of the Riot cinematic universe, if it does happen, seems bright if Riot continues to deliver with the next 6 episodes. But even then, with only 3 episodes having been released so far, there's already so much to unpack. From finding out what the purple liquid is, to learning out more about the laners in the show, there's just a lot to talk about. So honestly, if I try to talk about every aspect of the show right now, the video will probably be way too long. So for this video, I'll be focusing on the plight of the laners as we know it, and the purple liquid present in the show that was made by Silco and Singed, which is called Shimmer. So let's get started. So from the beginning of the series, we're introduced to the plight of the people in the lanes, being shown the aftermath of what seems to be a movement led by Vander in an attempt to cross the bridge to Piltover, which was halted by the enforcers. It's not clearly shown which side escalated the situation, but if we try to make an assumption based on the comments from the characters in the show,
what I don't understand is how you can work with them. We were here, we saw what they did.
we could gauge that the Piltover enforcers were the one that instigated the violence, or at least they didn't help in preventing it in the first place. Although it is an important thing to note that the only people to mention the incident are the people in the lanes and the Undercity itself, so there may be a bit of a bias there. Since Arcane seems to be taking place before Piltover had been broken up into the dual city states that League of Legends players now know as Piltover and Zon, as denoted by Silco, who spoke of the nation Zon being the dream that he and Vander shared.
We shared a vision, Vander. A dream of freedom. Not just for the lanes, but the whole of the underground, united as one. The nation of Zon.
Which means that it's not a reality yet, right? Much of the lore that can be found in the Runeterran world map and the other sources by Riot might not be too relevant to the series' timeline. In addition, certain aspects of the story in Arcane and League's canon kinda differ, so I won't be looking to the wiki nor the world map for sources of information. Instead, I'll try to be focusing on the series itself and analyzing it so that I can find the key details I need. Now, let's get started with the lanes. The lanes seem to be one major section of the Undercity, which seems to be largely influenced and protected by the Hound of the Underground, also known as Vander, Jinx and Vi's father figure in the series. The entrance to the Undercity, or at least one of them, is located in the outskirts of Piltover, in what seems to be a rundown and abandoned home. If we listen carefully to Jinx's short nursery rhyme in the beginning of the series, Sadly, it wasn't a full thing. But if we follow the verses that has already been said, and if we read into their meanings, it's likely that the people in the lanes live difficult lives compared to their fellow Piltover citizens that live in the city center, barely scraping by, while the people deeper in Piltover live lavish lifestyles daily, ignorant of the suffering that the people in the outskirts endured. Perhaps it was due to this difference in the social class growing more unstable that the people of the outskirts attempted to cross the bridge to Piltover to either better their lives or maybe appeal to the council. You can see the state of the houses and the fact that the Undercity's air is terrible enough to warrant the need for filtration masks to be worn goes to show how bad the laners have it. Now let's get back to what happened on the bridge. It's possible that the attempt to cross the bridge was peaceful at first, as an argument could be made that there doesn't seem to be any weapons nearby the bodies of the victims from the tragedy. And judging by how spiteful the people are in the Undercity towards the Piltovers, it does kind of support the notion that the enforcers of Piltover were the instigators of the incident. So in this case, you could say that the Piltover enforcers are the one at fault, though it's probably the fault from both sides in one way or another. Well, that's all we can touch on for the friction between the laners and the Piltovers, so let's talk about Shimmer. An important plot device to focus on in the series would be the purple vials that Silco has since created, also known as Shimmer, as it seems that judging from the trailers, these concoctions will be present in the future episodes. So, what exactly are they? Well, only one theory comes to mind when looking at the way Shimmer is made, how it looks, and its influence on a person.
Extraordinary.
It's made from the Void's essence. Now, to those that aren't familiar with the Void, essentially it's Riot's alien dimension where all sorts of unnatural creatures or aberrations reside. Since it hasn't been referred to exactly in the series itself, I'll be taking the description from the universe of League of Legends' website of the Void. Screaming into existence with the birth of the universe, the Void is a manifestation of the unknowable nothingness that lies beyond. It is a force of insatiable hunger, waiting through the eons until its masters, the mysterious Watchers, mark the final time of undoing. Denizens of the Void Realm itself are construct creatures, often only limited sentience, but tasked with a singular purpose: to usher in total oblivion across Runeterra. That doesn't sound too friendly, does it? So essentially they're aliens that want to wreak havoc all across Runeterra. Alright, fine. What does that have to do with Shimmer? Well, as I've mentioned before, my, dear viewer, the idea came to mind from how Shimmer looks, how it's made, and what it does. I'm pretty sure from the looks perspective you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. Shimmer is purple, the creatures from the Void look purple. Heck, if you look at its official image of a portal to the Void dimension, it's also purple. Talk about keeping a strict color uniform. But of course you might just say, just because it's purple doesn't mean it's from the Void. And I would agree with you. But then if you look at how it affects Deckard, the boy who thought for some reason it was a good idea to trust a guy with half his face burnt off and a creepy old man and take the drink. Don't take drinks from strangers, kids. You'll never know if it might turn you into a hulking purple raging monster. You can see the influence is similar to how the Void influences its victims as well. But I digress. The reason why I want to focus on how Shimmer affects people is because of its similarity with the behavior of creatures from the Void. For example, the creatures of the Void are known to have the ability to adapt and evolve. In one of the Void Champion stories, Vel'Koz, it is mentioned how the creatures within the Void learn to adapt. Heck, Kha'Zix is literally all about adapting and evolving. And so if we take that into account and observe how Shimmer essentially boosts the strength and agility of its users, foreseeing the growth and evolution in what seems to be a painful process as the liquid corrupts its user from within, one could make a connection between the two. And if you also observe how Shimmer affects the rat in the first episode, and the corruptive nature of the concoction seemingly corrupting the ground as well, the void's corruption can be compared to it. As if you want to an example, the void's corruption can be noted from one of League's side stories, The Eye in the Abyss, where an explorer was struck by a void creature and the void's corruption began spreading through her body, so we can possibly make a connection between the Shimmer's corruption and the void's corruption. Still, at this point you might still be thinking, some of the comparisons seem right, but it could be a coincidence at the end of the day. Well then, let me tell you last point, dear viewer, the real kicker as to why I think Shimmer is made with the void's essence. Right here! No, not this one, sorry. Right here! This scene right here. A short peek at the production of Shimmer and how it's made, and what can you see? That's right, some sort of organic organ pumping amongst the vials. Clearly, some sort of creature was used to fuel the production for Shimmer, and the only creature that comes to mind that can provide this sort of blood or liquid or body fluid would be a creature from the void. As to how or why Singed and Silco managed to procure this organ, that's kind of left to the imagination for now. So alone, each of these could just be a simple coincidence and a very weak theory, but together, it just seems so right for it to be made from the void's essence. As to why this is important, well, this could set up Riot's future ideas on how Void influences Runeterra, being the first step to introduce the Void into the Riot cinematic universe, and in future installments that they might release. Before I end this segment, I just gotta say though, the sound that Deckard makes when he uses the Shimmer sounds so similar to what I imagine a Void creature would sound like, so if it isn't the Void, then I'm gonna be super disappointed. Now, of course, these theories might not be 100% confirmed, it's just something interesting to talk about as we approach the release date for the next 3 episodes of Arcane. Honestly, I can't tell you how excited I am to see where the series goes from here. Like, even now, there's still so much to talk about, from each of the families in the council and their roles in Piltover, to the existence and the future of the Hextech crystals, figuring out the identities and goals of what seems to be Arcane's next antagonist, and just so much more. But for now, we will have to wait until the episodes get released to find out more, since even Riot's official source material that have been released doesn't even seem to cover some of what I just mentioned. So until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want more of this content to come out in the future. I can't wait to see where the series goes from here, and I really hope with the major success of Arcane that Riot continues to, well, make more shows for Runeterra, as there's just so much you could focus on, like from the stories in Bilgewater, to the Rune Wars, to the fall of the Ascendants in Shurima. The possibilities are endless. So let's also give a round of applause to Studio Fortiche and appreciate all they've done to bring this series to life with a unique animation style. With that being said, my name is Modio Virtuoso, and I'll be ending the video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out!